Hello there and welcome to the match review of Liverpool versus Salzburg, RB Salzburg I should say, which finished 2-2. Now, I was asleep for the first half an hour because I accidentally fell asleep on the couch. It's one of those things when you start work at you get up in the morning at 2 a.m. And you start work at 4 a.m. It's one of those things that you risk if you I just have a bit of a lie down before the match and ended up missing the first half an hour. And when I woke up and saw that we were 2-0 down, I was like, oh, that's interesting. That's interesting. And it pretty much delivered everything that I expected in that game. I didn't think that Liverpool would go 2-0 down, especially with the lineup that we put out as well, and I'll go through that in just a second. But I think it says a lot about the second half and everything that happened in the second half as well, compared to what I saw of the remainder of the first half, in that the younger guys seem to come in with a lot more freedom, if you know what I mean. So when they came on in the second half, there seemed to be a bit more freedom, a bit more flow to the patterns of attack and stuff like that, because what I saw in the first half, from what is predominantly a first team normal match day squad, what I saw was overcomplicated, sort of overthinking, passing not really coming off, or making the wrong pass to the wrong person in the wrong situation, and where they can't necessarily, there'll be some good passages of play, and then all of a sudden they play the wrong pass, and make no mistake, Salzburg are a quick team on the counter. And obviously, because I was asleep for the first half an hour, I missed both of Salzburg's goals, so I've not actually seen them. But by all accounts, they were quite good, but by all accounts as well, they were mistakes that were made by losing the ball in unfortunate positions. One of them apparently was Fabinho, and he sometimes does this. If he has a bit of time away from football, or from playing with Liverpool or whoever, if he has a little bit of time away and he's got to come back, he doesn't always hit the ground running. We've seen it when he's been injured at times. When he gets injured and he comes back, he takes a long time to get up to that sort of Fabinho where he is an absolute colossus. So maybe that's something not necessarily to worry about, but that what you see in that first half. And I'll tell you now, that lineup that we put out, I'll go through it now. I said I was going to go through it. Alisson, Nico Williams, Joe Gomez, Virgil van Dijk, Andy Robertson, Fabinho, Gini Wijnaldum, Naby Keita, the front three, Mane, Firmino and Salah. Now you look at that, and that is, Premier League champions, champions of Europe, the Champions League winners that we were last season, and the Premier League winners the season just gone. And you look at that, we faced Salzburg before, we know what they're going to give us. They pressed insanely hard and a really high intensity, and it looked like we couldn't deal with it. And normally we are the ones that are the pressers. In football, in the Premier League, in European football, we are the pressers. That's what we're known as. We're known as one of the best at doing it in world football. And we looked like we couldn't handle Salzburg. And that's not to take anything away from Salzburg whatsoever. And I'm hoping that doesn't sound disrespectful, what I'm saying there. They came out and they came out good. They came out flying and they came out with purpose. And it's a positive to have a game like that ahead of the Community Shield and ahead of the Premier League season as well. It's a massive positive to have a game like that where we go 2-0 down. We've got to come back and fight. We do come back and fight. We don't go and lose the game. That is really, really good. It's positive. For those that can't see that as a positive, what it means is that actually a game like that gives Jurgen Klopp something to go back to the drawing board with, something to go back into training with, something to hammer the guys with. And when I say hammer the guys with, he's probably going to have a little bit of that, where he's not happy with it. And I watched his match reaction, his minute-long sort of thing off Liverpool FC Twitter, when they post up a video, short interview of his thoughts and reaction to the match. Said he wasn't happy with most of it, felt like it was tired legs. And it was strange. They've done a lot of training. They've obviously played against Stuttgart as well. And it was just weird to see the contrast between how we played against Stuttgart to how we played against Salzburg. And heavy legs could be a part of it. But I'm not, I'm not the players. I don't know how they feel. Only they know how they feel. And Jurgen Klopp knows his players inside out. So maybe there is a little bit of that. But when we got into the second half, and I want to look at that in particular, where are we? So, when we had the likes of, so we didn't make wholesale changes all at the same time. Minamino coming on, James Milner coming on, that was really, really good, really positive as well. Milner looked very, very good as well. For those that sort of, they look at like, well, why have we still got James Milner? That's why we've still got James Milner, because he can still, at his age, and I don't want to quote his age because I don't actually know it accurately. He's between 32 and 34, one of them. He was very, very good, and I'm pretty sure he got the assist on one of the goals as well. Nat Phillips came off of Virgil van Dijk. He had a clash. Someone cut his eyebrow. Nothing too serious, really. You see worse ones, obviously, in like MMA fights and stuff like that, and he'll no doubt be ready and raring to go for the weekend. And could actually do him a little bit of good to come off with a good amount of time. He never gets rest anyway. Then Hover, Grujic, Rhian Brewster came on, Adrian came on as well, all around the 63rd minute. After that, a couple of minutes later, Harvey Elliott, Kumetio and Tsimikas came on. And then Rhian Brewster gets himself on the score sheet again. Like, this lad, it will be absolutely criminal. And it hasn't actually given Milner the assist on this app, the SofaScore app, but I'm pretty sure it was Milner. Tight passing in and around the box, and Milner was very, very key in setting it up. Brewster gets the shot off and it goes in. Looked very, very positive. When all of these young lads came in, and the new lad as well, Tsimikas, when these guys came on, you start to see a lot more positivity, a lot more free-flowing, attacking football. Less about thinking about what they had to do and just going on and doing it. And that is what that looked like to me anyway. And that's where you see the goals come from as well. They made a couple of changes after that. And then in the 81st minute, Rhian Brewster, again, capitalises on, I think it's either a strange pass or something's happened. The goalkeeper's well out of position. The ball falls to Brewster. You need to see the reverse angle of that finish, because it looks like, you know, the defender's just got into the centre of the goal for RB Salzburg just to make himself a bit of a presence because the goalkeeper's out of position. And it just looked like Brewster belts it and it goes in the back of the net. It actually, say this is the reverse angle, the ball's coming into the goal, it's so tight into the corner, it doesn't matter. He finishes that like a striker, like a proper seasoned striker, right into the corner. So it made no doubt that even if the defender could have maybe got a head there, or if he wanted to pull a madness and get a hand there, whatever, it wasn't happening. And he put it in the back of the net. Very, very good. And from then on, really, I think it was just, you know, Liverpool, we dominated possession and everything like that, like we tend to do. And it finished 2-2. And I'm positive about that, because I look at that and think, there's great positives in what the team has to work on, what they need to work on in terms of energy levels, in terms of getting that free-flowing, attacking football going as well. But also, when the younger lads come on, the type of freedom that they bring into a game. And you see it with Rhian Brewster. And I'm going to say this, and it's probably going to be the title of the video as well, or part of it anyway. It will be an absolute crime if Rhian Brewster doesn't get a shot at Liverpool within the first team, whether he starts or he's on the bench. He needs to be given chances. He needs to be given a shot in the team, because I'm pretty damn sure he's going to take it every single time. Might not come off straight away, fine, no problem, but he will contribute something, because his instincts in and around the box and being able to take a shot from distance as well, he needs to be given a chance. He really, really does. Apart from that, yeah, there are negatives. Going 2-0 down, like, it's not ideal, especially with the team that we put out. People need to be looking at that and be going, that team is pretty much what our team was like week in, week out in the Premier League, and we won. We didn't walk the Premier League. Well, we did-ish. We were 18 points clear by the end of the season, 25 points plus, 25 points-ish, you know, for quite a little bit as well. That team is more than good enough to go and put away any team in Europe. So to go 2-0 down, not good enough in that respect. Maybe tiredness has come into it. It has ended their time in Austria now. They will be coming back, obviously, to the UK and preparing for the Community Shield. What this will now happen, or what this will what will happen now is this is probably going to give some selection, not issues, but options for Klopp in terms of what he does in terms of preparation for the Community Shield, because he won't be impressed with what happened in the first half. He won't be impressed with going 2-0 down. 2 goals that were preventable. They were absolutely preventable. I would even say Alisson could have done a little bit more for the first goal. He got a hand to it, but it still went in the back of the net. I would definitely say that there could have been much bigger improvement from everybody in that first half. And then when the second half comes on, you see the younger guys coming in for the more experienced guys, the likes of a Salah, the likes of a Mane, Firmino and stuff like that. And you're seeing like Rhian Brewster coming in, and I'm using that name, but obviously you see the energy and technical proficiency that someone like a Harvey Elliott brings you. Simicast also looked good. Cometio as well looked good. Everybody that came on from Minamino, Grujic, even I felt Grujic did well, did a little bit of the dirty work in midfield as well. When you see these guys come on, for the guys that have been picked week in, week out in the Premier League, and they actually do the business in the second half, it's a good thing to have competition for places, competition in certain areas, in all areas, if anything. And we'll just have to wait and see what happens for the Community Shield. But I want to see Brewster starting. I want to see Rhian Brewster starting. I also realise now... All right then. I also realise now I've been saying his name completely wrong. It's Rhian, not Ryan. So it'll be Rhian Brewster from now on. I want to see him start in the Community Shield. I do. I want to see him start. I want to see him go up against Arsenal, and I want to see what he can do against a Premier League team when it's not necessarily the Premier League that's on the line or a Premier League game. It's the Community Shield. But I want to see him get. I want to see him get a go. I really, really do. Whether that happens or not, I'm not entirely sure. But hey, let me know what you think in the comments below. Anyway, what did you think of the match if you got to watch it? It's well worth watching if you can watch it, or if you can go re-watch it somewhere. It is well worth watching. You'll be devastated for the first half an hour, but you'll start to see the fight back as well. And it was very, very good. Could have even, won the game, if anything like that. But winning and losing or drawing, whatever, doesn't matter. It's about the performance, about the players that were involved. And there are going to be possibly some selection changes that you might not expect normally, under normal circumstances, for the Community Shield anyway. So, let me know what you think in the comments below. Thank you ever so much for watching this video. If you have enjoyed it, please do like it and subscribe if you're new around here. Thank you once again, and I'll catch you later.